In this video, we're going back to basics with a simple breakout video which will help you to achieve massive profits from price movements. So firstly, you need to understand what I'm referring to when I say breakout. Basically, a breakout is just a term referring to a price of an asset, like crypto, breaking beyond the key support or resistance level. This usually results in a massive price movement, which is what you can profit big time on. Here is an example of what I'm talking about. We can see that the price action is moving within a range. This is shown by the bars of the price action not exceeding the maximum and minimum of this range. So now that we've identified this area, we can draw a line to mark a level of resistance above and a level of support below. Now, as you can see, each time the price got close to one of our lines, it rejected it and it began to move in the opposite direction. Now, notice as soon as the price broke out of this key level of support, the market started trending, which, had we have been here watching this live, would have been an amazing opportunity to enter a trade. Now, the only thing left to know is how we can actually find setups like these in live market conditions. And the most simple option is actually to find breakout patterns. I'm sure that a lot of you have seen these patterns before somewhere online. You can see here are a few examples such as the wedge, triangle, and all sorts of other patterns. Now, probably the most common mistake I see traders make when looking at this pattern list and trying to apply it is waiting for the market to make an exact copy of the movement as in the examples. This is definitely the biggest misconception out there. These are merely guides. What we actually want to see is candles that somewhat fit into these patterns. If you sit and wait for an exact replica to pop up, I can guarantee you're going to be waiting for a very long time. The fact of the matter is, prices just don't move like this at all in real life, no matter how much we want them to. Instead, what you should be focusing on is finding the key levels of support and resistance. Here is an example. If you look here on the chart, we can quite clearly see that the price is forming lower highs. Now, to make this easy to see, we can draw a trend line in a downwards position. This is because there are multiple times the price rejected the breakout. Now, looking under the price action, you can see we have more rejections. The price action continues to refuse going any lower. Now, if you zoom out a bit, you can see that we have just found a triangular pattern because we have a downwards trend line and a support line. This concept will also apply to other patterns. If you spot a support and resistance level, then it's a rectangle pattern because as you can see, we have no trending lines. Opposite to this, if you spot two trend lines instead of just one, then you have found a pennant. And if you found two trend lines that are heading in the same direction, you have a flag pattern. Right, so you don't actually need to memorize these names or anything. It literally doesn't matter. They're all based on the one concept that the price consolidates and forms key levels, then creates a breakout. If all you can do is find these key levels and nothing else, the strategy will work. Okay, so once you've identified the consolidation pattern, you need to then predict the direction of the breakout. This brings me to another common mistake I see, which is traders immediately taking a position at the first breakout that they see. For example, here we have spotted both a level of support and a level of resistance, meaning we just found a rectangular pattern. You can also see we had a candle close slightly above the upper level. A lot of people would look at this and think because the price broke above the level, there must be a breakout. This is a terrible mindset to be in because the breakout doesn't equal a trend. There's always going to be a possibility that it is a false breakout. Alright, so now that I've covered the basics of breakout patterns, here's a quick recap. Firstly, all breakout patterns are very unique. You're never going to find an exact shape because the shapes are only there to serve as a reference point. Second, you need to find key levels of support and resistance to identify these potential breakout patterns. Thirdly, just because you found a slight breakout doesn't mean there is going to be a trend. And this point leads me on to the final one, which is you need to combine breakout rules like the ones I've given you in this video with strategies for entering and exiting trades. But with that, this video is done. There's going to be a part 2 coming out soon where I introduce you guys to the strategy for using these breakout signals. So stay tuned for that one and I'll see you in the next video.